The Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, or SAMA, has directed Saudi local banks to postpone 3 months' installments of all financing products for Saudi workers registered in the support of unemployment insurance without any additional costs or fees. This comes upon the royal order issued by the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, to compensate Saudis working in private sector firms that have been impacted by the current consequences of COVID-19 outbreak. King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center distributed in the Yemeni Directorate of Sayhat in Al Mahra Governorate 190 food baskets to the needy. The aid, weighing 14 tons and 60 kilograms, has reached 145 families. The distribution comes within humanitarian and relief projects being provided by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to the Yemeni people. Iran's coronavirus death toll rose by 90 in the past 24 hours, reaching 5,481, while in total number of confirmed cases rose to 87,026. The daily rise in the death toll has held below 100 since April 14th, as the country's leaders have pushed to resume ordinary life. Authorities allowed shopping malls, bazaars and parks to reopen this week and also lifted a ban on intercity travel. Saudi security sectors have intensified their work to enforce curfew and to respond to distress calls amid the outbreak of the novel coronavirus. The National Center for Security Operations, which is directly linked to the Ministry of Interior, supervises the security situation in the kingdom and monitors reports coming from the different Saudi regions. In addition, the NCSO also coordinates with the interior ministers of the GCC states, especially with regards to cross-border traffic incidents. Cairo is moving forward with its diplomatic efforts to boost the political process in Damascus through its membership in the small group on Syria that includes several Western and Arab countries. Egypt's Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry held extensive international calls with various parties to resume the political track in Syria and activate the work of the Constitutional Committee, which would lead to presidential elections in June of 2021. Shoukry discussed in a telephone call Wednesday the latest developments in Syria with the UN Special Envoy Jorge Peterson. The custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, has approved increasing funds allocated for the Iftar project to 5 million Saudi riyals, which will be implemented by the Ministry of Islamic Affairs, calling guidance in 18 countries around the world. The project aims to provide iftar meals for 1 million people as a part of the Saudi ministry's plan during the holy month of Ramadan. The Minister of Islamic Affairs, calling guidance, Sheikh Dr. Abdul Latif bin Abdul Aziz Al Sheikh, expressed his thanks and appreciation to King Salman for his continuous support to the ministry's various works and programs in serving Islam. For the first time since the outbreak of the August events in southern Yemen, all political parties' opinions converged over the devastating floods that have submerged Aden. Yemeni Prime Minister Mu'in Abdul Malik declared the city a disaster zone, while a statement issued by the Southern Transitional Council announced a state of emergency, describing the situation as very bad. The two sides exchanged indirect accusations in a statement. The Southern Transitional Council criticized the government's absence from Aden without referring to the Riyadh Agreement. Egypt plans to cut spending on fuel subsidies by 47% in its 2020-2021 budget to 28.193 billion Egyptian pounds, or about $1.8 billion, an explanatory note for its draft budget published showed. It allocates 52.963 billion pounds for fuel subsidies, for the 2020-2021 fiscal year. The explanatory note of the budget project showed that the government is targeting revenue of £620 million from offering new license for iron and cement production. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas stressed that his administration would regard agreements with Israel and the United States completely cancelled if Israel annexes land in the occupied West Bank. Earlier, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said it was an Israeli decision whether to annex parts of the West Bank, and the United States will offer its views on this to the new Israeli government in private. The coalition agreement states that while the new government will strive for peace and regional stability, plans to extend Israeli sovereignty to Jewish settlements in the occupied West Bank, land the Palestinians seek for a state, could be promoted. The UN Security Council began work on a draft resolution co-authored by Tunisia and France urging enhanced coordination and a general cessation of hostility and conflicts on its agenda in the face of the coronavirus pandemic. The 3-page draft was delivered to the 15 members of the Security Council. The draft emphasizes the urgent need for enhanced coordination among all countries and demands a general and immediate cessation of the coronavirus pandemic. The 3-page draft was delivered to the 15 members of the Security Council. The draft emphasizes the urgent need for enhanced coordination among all countries and demands a general and immediate cessation of hostilities in all countries on its agenda. Spain said 440 people died in the past 48 hours from the new coronavirus, a slight increase for the third day running, bringing the overall death toll to 22,157. The country has suffered the third highest number of deaths in the world from the pandemic after the United States and Italy, with infections now more than 213,000 cases, Health Ministry figures showed. Spanish health officials believed the epidemic peaked on April 2nd, when 950 people died over 24 hours, nearly 3 weeks after the government imposed a strict lockdown, effectively confining almost 47 million citizens to home to slow the spread of the virus. German Chancellor Angela Merkel says her country must remain clever and cautious in handling the coronavirus crisis, as it's not the end phase but still just the beginning. She stressed the need for European cohesion in fighting the virus. Italy, at the epicenter of the pandemic in Europe, has been especially vocal in urging its EU partners to jointly guarantee debt as part of a huge rescue package. A further 4.4 million Americans sought unemployment benefits last week as the economic toll from the coronavirus pandemic continued to mount. The new applications brought the total number of jobless claims since mid-March to 26.4 million. However, the most recent data marked the third week that the number of new claims has declined, a sign that the worst of the shock may be over. Egyptian Prime Minister said that Egypt has set a nighttime curfew for the duration of the holy fasting month of Ramadan to combat the spread of the coronavirus. The curfew will start at 9 p.m. instead of the previous 8 p.m. and run until 6 a.m. according to the World Health Organization. Egypt has reported 250 deaths from COVID-19 and some 3,300 cases. Egypt was the first major Muslim country that was reported to be cancelling communal iftars and prayers during the holy month of Ramadan. Africa has registered a 43% jump in reported COVID-19 cases in the last week, highlighting a warning from the World Health Organization that the continent of 1.3 billion could become the next epicenter of the global outbreak. WHO warned the virus could kill more than 300,000 people and push 30 million into desperate poverty. who said Africa still has time to avert such a disaster, but testing people and tracing virus cases is critical. The UK has announced human trials for a coronavirus vaccine it says could be ready by autumn. Despite a normal development time of 18 months or more for a vaccine, an Oxford research team believes large-scale production could be underway as soon as September, about 9 months after the novel coronavirus was first spotted in China. The US, China, and now Germany, which announced clinical tests, are the only other countries to have begun human trials. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia announced that it has submitted a letter of intent to hold the 21st Asian Games in 2030 in Riyadh. The Asian Games, also known as ASIAD, is the largest sporting event in Asia, with all 45 members of the Olympic Council of Asia eligible to participate. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia envisions 10,000 athletes from these nations competing across 40 sports in the capital, Riyadh. Egypt's Grand Mufti Shawki Alam said that the coronavirus crisis has underscored the wisdom of the political leadership and the Egyptian people's awareness. In statements, he said the Egyptian people had managed to overcome many challenges and hardships. He called on people who are not adhering to the coronavirus preventive measures to change their attitude for the crisis to end as soon as possible. Scientists have identified a potential tsunami risk in the region chosen by Indonesia for its new capital. The researchers mapped evidence of multiple ancient underwater landslides in the Makassar Strait between the islands of Borneo and Sulawesi. If the largest of these were repeated today, it would generate tsunami capable of inundating Balikpapan Bay, an area close to the proposed capital. Bahrain's legendary F1 circuit is to produce hundreds of ventilators for COVID-19 patients and share the blueprints free of charge worldwide. Engineers from the track, which hosts the Grand Prix Championship race each year, designed the breathing apparatus in just 2 weeks for non-ICU patients in need of respiratory assistance. The device was then built from scratch in partnership with intensive care doctors from Salmaniya Medical Complex Respiratory Therapy Department and Medical Equipment Department.